Oh man, so should we start now?
We should start now, I think.
How do we start these? I don't even remember.
Well, we got to talk about Chris Chan.
Yeah, Chris Chan.
I mean, not quite like that, but yeah.
Welcome back, everybody. We're back into the world of Chris Chan. It's nice to not talk comics. You know what I mean? I think that comic episode really drug us down. We had to do 3 comics in one episode. I think it took a lot out of us.
But then we got to talk about Peter Jackson being a pervert for an episode, which thank you, everyone, for tolerating that episode with us and listening to it. I hope you liked it. He is a little pervert, man.
So we Stacy, we talked, and we decided that, like, as the show goes forward, it's going to be less of a comprehensive history of everything and more just me picking out stories that happened in the time frame and telling them to Stacy while we smoke weed.
I like it. I like the plan.
Because, like, if you want a deep dive into this shit, Geno Samuels is doing so much better than we ever could. Like, so go watch those.
Those are great. All those videos on YouTube, you should watch those.
He's doing fantastic work. So go, like, if you really want to get in the deep of everything, go do that. Like, watch those, check those out. There's a bunch of people who do Chris Chan YouTube videos. Check them out. Good idea, bad idea, Base Shaman. There's a lot. But this show is, like, me and Stacey have fun by, like, me just telling him shit that happened and me hearing him laugh really, really big at it.
And I like laughing really big at it. Like, I've refrained from, like, learning shit so that I could hear it on here the first time.
So, to start out, let's recap where I haven't listened. So I think where we left off in, like, the life of Chris, as we talked about in the last comic, there was a page dedicated to the memory of Ryan Cash. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ryan Cash is a fan that committed suicide because his hero was Sonichu and Chris wasn't pumping out comics fast enough for him, and he lost his will to live. He killed himself. So Chris getting this heartfelt email from Ryan's family is like, I'll put it in memoriam in my comic for Ryan Cash. But unfortunately for Chris, Ryan's brother Clyde does not forgive and does not forget. And Chris has his first mortal enemy. So, just to get into, like, before we get into Clyde Cash, is like everything happened, just to get in the idea of Clyde Cash, a bunch of people at this point, Chris is getting big on the internet, and they decide, like, to fuck with him. They're all gonna, like, work together, and they're called the Miscreants. And this is, like, somehow a playoff of, like, Metal Gear Solid. Like, a lot of things that come from this era are based off Metal Gear Solid. Like, we get into Solid Chris and Liquid Chris later, and that's a Metal Gear reference, I guess.
Yeah, that would be a Metal Gear reference.
So I don't know what the Miscreants is a reference to, everybody, and I'm not going to look it up because I don't play these games. But it's a group of trolls called the Miscreants, and Clyde is the leader. And they just decide that from here on out, they're just going to fuck with Chris and, like, troll him into, like, getting him to say things and make videos and put stuff in the comics. And they figure that the best way to do this, because Chris only looks at things like video games and movies, like real life is a video game or a movie, they decide Chris needs a mortal enemy. And it's Clyde Cash. So one of the first things that Clyde Cash does is remember me saying that Chris had a lady friend named Panda Halo?
Yes, I do.
Clyde, now keep in mind, everybody, this is 2009, okay? So we don't have the same, we're not as woke as the culture back then. So Clyde had his way with Panda Halo against her will.
Oh, no.
Chris responds to this by, like, being like, oh, okay, well, that sucks.
What?
Yeah, he doesn't sell it, which is weird. They thought this would be like this big thing, and Chris would get real mad about it. But, like, Chris doesn't really react to it. It's more like, Clyde, why would you do that, you asshole? And that's about it. Like, it's
that's a big undersell.
That's a huge undersell. And this is like, you're gonna find out, like, with the trolling efforts where people are going out of their way to try to troll Chris. He doesn't bite on the things that you think he will, and then, like, little things that you understand are nothing, Chris will, like, focus in and blow blow up like huge in his mind. So like, yeah, they thought this thing with Clyde and Panda Halo would be this huge thing for Chris, and Chris didn't really give a shit, if we're being honest. Like, he didn't really fucking care. He more or less, Panda Halo leaves Chris for Clyde Cash, and they have like Clyde Cash lives in a giant mansion. And so the picture of Clyde Cash that they sent Chris, because like everybody has pictures, but they're never like the real people, right? Because it's trolling. Yeah. Chris's, it looks like this Guido from like Jersey Shore, like this orange tan kid with like red sweatband and like spiked up black hair, like making duck lips. And this is like forever the image of Clyde Cash. I guess he's like, he might have been some kind of like MySpace dude or like a model. It's hard telling. I can't remember, but forever, like in Chris's mind, Clyde Cash is this Guido dude.
Which really is sort of, that really is sort of like the anti-Chris.
It really is, yeah. And like women love Clyde Cash. These girls like can't help but throw themselves at Clyde Cash. So one of the things Clyde Cash does is man, I don't know how I want to get into it. I don't know if I want to take it from like how it was worked or take it as a shoot first. Jay-Z gets a hold of Chris.
Okay.
But we find out Jay-Z is the lawyer for Nintendo. Keep in mind, this doesn't have to be Jay-Z. It just is. It just is Jay-Z. And Chris believes that this is Jay-Z getting a hold of him for Nintendo. So, Miyamoto, the guy that runs Nintendo, Shigeru Miyamoto, emails Chris. It's like, we want to make a Sonichu game. And Chris emails him back, Mr. Miyamoto, I am honored and humbled that you wish to see me in person. Yeah, that's the thing. They're like, fly out to Redmond, Washington, come to Nintendo of America. We want to have a meeting with you. We want to make Sonichu into a game. But Chris lets him know, I'm afraid that my family and I are not as financially well off as possibly assumed. If you wish me to come to Redmond, I have dreamed of traveling to the Nintendo of America company in my lifetime. I must ask for compensation of round-trip airfare and other required necessities for automobile travel from the airport to Nintendo of America and anything else pertaining therein. Thank you for your support. And then he sends him the address where he lives, which we all know, 14 Fraction Court, Ruckersville, Virginia. This continues, like, they're like, Chris, you got to come out here. You got to come out here. So Chris, like, emails Miyamoto, who he thinks is the head of Nintendo, and is like, I would love to, but my mom has said the weather is really bad in Washington right now. It's January, so it's very bad weather. So, like, the guy trolling as Miyamoto is like, listen, Chris, we'll pay you back, all right? We'll pay you back. We'll reimburse it. So, luckily for Chris, Bob's not dumb. And Bob lets him know, like, because Bob worked for General Electric, that, like, no, they buy you this stuff in advance, Chris. And they, like, they don't pay you when that's not how this works.
Right.
So Chris, like, emails Miyamoto back and is like, yeah, I can't fly out there. Why don't you fly out to me? And Miyamoto is like, no, I'm very busy. Like, I run Nintendo. I can't just fly out to Ruckersville, Virginia. So Chris in this email is like, listen, people of Nintendo, during my lifetime, my family and I have invested thousands of American dollars and cents into Nintendo video games and systems, from NES to Game Boy to GameCube and Wii. I also have attached my list of video games in my collection, 90% of which all bought brand new. So Chris's angle now is like, I have given you guys so much money, just pay for my flight. And they suggest that, well, Chris, it's from like what we've seen, you have a lot of video games. Why don't you just try selling some of them to pay for the trip?
Dude, so the email addresses these are coming from, are they just like a fucking Gmail account or something?
Yeah.
That's so good.
But they also, at this time, they'll mail Chris, and they have the Nintendo of America header. Like, they make it look like as official as possible.
Right.
Because people are like, Chris, they're trolling you. So he makes videos where he shows off like reads the papers and is like, no, look, Nintendo America header, this is real. So yeah, like Chris full on believes like Nintendo America is trying to get a hold of him to make a Sonichu game. And Bob is like, no, Chris, no. Barbara is a little in between both. Barbara could see it going either way, I guess.
That's almost funnier to me because technically she should be able to tell immediately.
Yeah. Dude, just take a look at fucking Sonichu and I mean, Chris, nobody wants to make this.
But even Bob thinks Sonichu might be something, so
I think that Bob understands that Sonichu looks like shit, but he's more like, you look at an autistic person did this and like you've reached this famous, like maybe you can do something with that. And he is right. Chris could do something with that.
He doesn't, but he could.
So Chris's angle is like, I'm just going to tell you my entire life story more or less and try to pity you into like flying me out. So he tells, there's a whole story like Manchester High School, my gal pals, I went to college, I didn't get any awards in creativity. I don't know why you would tell them that. Like, if anything, you would hide that part. And then he starts telling them about like stuff in Sonichu. Like he's like, clearly you know about it. Like he says here, also the sweetheart searches portrayed in the sub episodes were true for the time. Like in his brain, Shigeru Miyamoto has read all of his comics, memorized his life in them. And then he tells Shigeru Miyamoto about how he made a DVD for his 25th birthday about everything. So then he is like, basically, here's my phone number. Call me if you need a quick response. I need $800.
Look, Miyamoto, I'm gonna need this money.
But like he starts angling with them like he's doing business, and he's like, he kind of is getting the idea that they might be a troll. And the way he puts this, he's like, another way of putting it, if I may, are you the Mario who plays fair or the Bowser / Koopa who cheats and lies?
I'm sure he thought that was really fucking clever.
He for sure thought it was super clever. So Chris is like, actually, I'll be able to make the trip because I can't make the trip because number one, money is an issue. Number two, I just personally feel uncomfortable leaving the safety in and around my house with my familiar surroundings, a quirk of my autism. I'm undecided now whether to believe this is the real Mr. Miyamoto or not, and I will not agree nor disagree with the facts over fiction. But if you truly are him, please contact my sweetheart, Sarah Cassandra McKenzie, at her email of pandahalo.com and put me on for a meeting with you on the Sonichu projects and all that with her.
So is this after the Clyde Cash thing or before?
This is before Clyde Cash.
Okay.
So yeah, Chris then gets the idea around like January 15th and is like, why not send somebody out here to Virginia? Again, like, just you send somebody here. And they're like, no, it's not how this works. Like, we want your idea. You want your idea to get made. You come out here. So then they get a hold of him and let him know that they found the ED page. And also that Jay-Z quit and he doesn't work there anymore.
Like, side note, Jay-Z, not a good lawyer. He had to let him go.
Just so you know, Jay-Z doesn't work here. Like, if Chris, like, that might be the thing Chris picks up on to figure out this is fake. It's like, wait, Jay-Z doesn't have a law degree. So, yeah, they ask him about the ED page, and he said, the webpage is full of lies and slanders fabricated by the trolls / internet bullies he created just to irritate and spite me. For God knows how long I've protested against it, but that only added logs to the fire, so I've been ignoring it for months. He says... After I get this is great. After I get Mr. Miyamoto's letter, I can burn a copy of my DVD titled Kristen Weston Chandler, Yup, I'm on TV, and send it to him at my own expense with honor. So throughout this, like, yeah, this is when they mail Chris like the letter with the header and on and everything.
Right.
So Chris at this time makes a video too for Miyamoto, and starts it off like remember the like Wii video where like Miyamoto bows and is like, we would like to play. Like Chris does that in the video. It's amazing. It's him talking, pitching this all to Miyamoto. It's fantastic. I'll send it to you so you can put it in here.
Ohio, Mr. Miyamoto-san. I have decided to do this video standing up as I felt it more appropriate, so that I could also allow myself to bow for your presence and such. Anyway, I have checked my email account. No trolls have sent any slanderous emails or any emails, or nobody has hacked my AOL account of Sonichu at AOL.com. So you're still talking to the real Christian Weston Chandler. Believe me. And also, I sent you a nerd. Also, I could also further prove it. My driver's license. I cover my number on there. But if you look closely enough, if you look at in one point of view, you can see the Virginia and the state numbers on there. The state shape logo on there. And also, Mr. Miyamoto, my Wii remote and nunchuck. We would like to play, to quote the commercial in an honorable way, if I may. So, Mr. Miyamoto, please do not quote me as a troll, because I am the real deal. Believe me. I mean, although I guess I do deserve it upon retrospect, since I made the accusation myself. So hopefully we can set this minor bit of bad business aside and continue on for good business. And hopefully I will be able to meet with you in Redmond as soon as possible. I'll be talking to my church congregation tomorrow. And I wish you a pleasant day, Miyamoto-san. Sayonara for now.
He does this to prove that he is the real Christian Weston Chandler, because somebody is hacking Sonichu.net and Sonichu.info, and also emailing Miyamoto to let him know, quote, I just wanted to let you know I, Christian Weston Chandler, have come out of the closet. I am gay. I've been ashamed for it for so long, but I do not think I need to hide it from y'all. I hope you understand and support me for the path I've chosen in life. So Chris emails Nintendo back, like, do not ignore that. That was a troll, Clyde Cash, who posed as Jason Kendrick Howell and Greg Mays. We'll get into this later. They hacked my AOL account Sunday and spammed false emails to everyone in my contact list. So, yeah, this is around the time when Chris's PlayStation Network and email just getting hacked constantly because his password is Sonichu.
Of course it is. Of course it is.
So Chris does a video where he's like, yep, I just went out to Redmond, and wow, what a great trip. I had a great time. I flew out there. Boy, my arm's tired. Ha ha ha.
January 26, 2009. I just got back. I set myself to Redmond. It was a good trip. Flew all the way there and all the way back. Boy, my arms are tired. That's no joke. Anyway, the Sonic in the video game project, it's all off the ground, and it's all progressing. I'm not at liberty to discuss it any further beyond that, as I have made the agreement with Mr. Miyamoto upon such. But it does mean that I will be more busy between drawing comics and talking business with Mr. Miyamoto. So with that, I'll be unable to come into a chat room as often, but I trust my loyal Sonichu fans to ignore any false rumors that are against me or Sonichu. Remember, you hear it from the man's mouth himself. I'm straight. Every hero in the comic is straight. The only one that's would be the evil twin. My evil twin. But he gets damned to hell anyway.
So Chris makes a video lying?
Yeah, and they call him on it. And he says, I've not been lying, Mr. Miyamoto was in D.C. for the meeting this past weekend. I have just uploaded the video to YouTube with the updated meeting. So yeah, Chris is like lying on this. And so Miyamoto is basically like, what are you doing? And he's like, and he mails Miyamoto back. And it's like, oh, you didn't understand me? Okay, I'll give it to you straight. In the end, I had no financial, family, or church support for the trip to Renbin. So Tuesday, January 20th, I had created the PowerPoint presentation for Mr. Miyamoto and copied it to his CDR. Then with my PSI, I recorded it live from my bedroom. My own personal message from Mr. Miyamoto, along with a reading of my PowerPoint presentation. So Chris is like, I didn't technically lie because I did it, and... So from this point on, Miyamoto's done because he's like, Chris, you're fucking lazy. And like, this starts pissing Chris off. He's like, you had the chance of a lifetime, more or less, and you fucked it up. Like, you're lazy. And he lets him know, I am not lazy, Mr. Miyamoto, and I'm terribly sorry for angering you. I meant no harm. Please, Mr. Miyamoto, do not cancel everything. I come from a mother and father who were of great business practices, and yet I lack a bunch of experience that they hadn't required. So yeah, Nintendo lets them know, like, we're done. We don't want anything to do with this anymore. And then he lets them know that we have quit this project and we're going to hand it over to Clyde Cash. So, Clyde Cash takes over this project. Chris is not happy. But Reggie Fils-Aimé, the like guy that runs Nintendo America, takes over and starts emailing with Chris. Mm-hmm. He sends this email. It's like says, quote, but right now I'm just strictly Reggie, meaning like this isn't business. I'm doing this for like as a human being. He's like, I'm not even gonna bother sending this through my Nintendo email address because he didn't have one, because it's not really Right. He's like, because you know what? This isn't business. This is strictly personal, and I have something to say to you, and you need to listen. This has nothing to do with Nintendo right now. This is just me and you, mano a mano, man to man. I don't normally do this, but hell, I just need to get this off my chest. So he more or less starts giving him shit about, like, he says, quote, I've been kicking ass and taking names since the E3 Expo in 2004. So this is the email. May I kindly ask, what the hell is wrong with you? Are you for real or what? I was there for everything. I saw Mr. Miyamoto waiting up to 2 days in the bitter cold for you to show up, and you stood him up. I was even there trying to arrange everything for you, even setting up someone to escort you to our building, complete with bodyguards and full security, because I knew you were concerned about your safety. And for what? So you could just not show up? I mean, I don't know what to think. It's completely unbelievable. I'm sorry, but it just is. I heard what you said about Mr. Miyamoto too, your reasons for not coming, and I just have to say, how old are you? You're 27, if I'm not mistaken, right? 27. I mean, think about it. You're almost 30. What is a man your age still doing being coddled by his parents? Let me tell you where I was when I was your age. Already married and had children. Your autism isn't an excuse either. I've raised a son with autism who is far worse functioning than you. He can easily make his own decisions. The only thing I see here is a person who is not only lazy and makes excuses, but can't even take charge of his own life. Think about what happened if you did go. You had to ask mommy and daddy for an okay on everything. Imagine the complete disaster that would mean. I mean, listen, simply put, you are not fit to do business with us, and you are not even in a position where you can make your own decisions, which is vital to survive in a workplace and even in general in life. So, like, Reggie Fils-Aimé lets Chris have it. Like, we can't do business with you because we can't work through your parents because you're almost a 30-year-old man. And this isn't how businesses ran. So Chris tries to, like, fix things, and more or less Reggie is just like, nah, man, I'm here against the other one. They call me the most feared man in the game industry, the man who kicks ass and takes names.
Oh.
He tells him, I'm sure if you had a job, didn't live with your parents, and were a self-made man like a person your age ought to be, you wouldn't have a problem making it here. So he keeps just basically telling Chris, like, no, you're lazy and you make excuses and you don't want to do anything. You had the chance of a lifetime and you fucked it up. Chris starts begging, quote, all capital letters, you did not have to cancel the project indefinitely. I will not accept that.
I will not accept it. That's amazing.
Yeah, so Chris sends this PowerPoint, and like they see it because like he didn't send it to Nintendo, he put it up on YouTube or whatever. And it's just like stuff from Sonichu, and they more or less are like, why is Sonichu so obsessed with fucking? We're like, this is lewd shit, and we're not interested in it. They're like, that was the final straw. This whole thing is over. Goodbye. So Chris emails them back with this. Let me say a few more things, then I'll stop emailing you for a long while. There's positively no nudity at all in the PowerPoint presentation. And what the heck is wrong with true love and kissing? Are you a virgin yourself? Have you had a bunch of bad dates? Are you so close-minded and rednecked? I gave you respect. Rednecked. I gave you respect after seeing you in that video on my Wii, yet you tell me that true love is wrong? Are you just bad or worse than the real-life Mary Lee Walsh, or how she is known now in my comics, Slaw Wheel Ryan? That's the thing, too. Jay-Z informed Chris that, like, these are real people's names, and you're going to have to change them when we make this game. So Chris retroactively went back and changed, like, also Black Sonichu is now Blake, because Jay-Z's like, that's offensive as fuck.
Right.
Yeah, so, like, yeah, it's just a whole thing where Jay-Z informed him, like, you got to change names. He's like, all right, so I pity you, and I've had your share of bad luck and true love, yet at this point, you've just lost my respect. True love is truly sacred bond between a woman and a man. Now, keep in mind, he thinks he's sending this to the president of Nintendo America. When they are together, they get attracted to each other very much to kiss and make love. God and Jesus wanted us to all experience and share true, straight love. There's nothing objectionable from that. I am a man who stands for true love and honesty in comics and in real life, although I am still a frustrated virgin with autism on the side. At least I'm making a positive difference in keeping true love between only woman and man in my actions. On a side note, I despise all homosexual meals, period.
Holy shit.
Yeah. So, after that...
Woo.
Do you want to unpack that for a little bit? Because there's a big one coming after this.
There's a whole lot there. Holy shit.
Yeah. So they told Chris, like, your comic is homophobic and has a lot of sex, and this is not, Nintendo does not make stuff like this. And Chris is like, fuck you, it's not offensive because they're straight, and gay people are awful. And it's like...
That's... Wow. Fuck, Chris. Like, so here's the thing, like... I get that, like, you know, he's autistic, right?
And he
like,
knows what he grew up with, and that's what he grew up with.
Yeah, I get that, but holy shit, you would think at some point, like, something would have, like,
I mean, we've talked about it before. Like, Christine gets it. Chris didn't. Christine gets it, and like even went back and like, yeah, she did like a time warp thing where she kicked the shit out of Chris for being a homophobic fucking asshole.
Well, yeah, and that's great.
Yeah.
But like, just like the trolls just said, you're fucking 27.
Yeah.
This isn't like, you know, 18, 19-year-old kid.
You're a 27-year-old man emailing the president of Nintendo America to tell him how much you hate gay people.
Correct.
Fucking what is happening? Like,
right.
Fake Reggie Fils-Aimé is right. What the hell is wrong with you? Like,
right. Like, the trolls are making a lot of solid points here.
The trolls, we'll get to some that don't, and like they're assholes later. But for the most part, a lot of the trolls make great points. Like, Chris, get a job. You're capable of it. Like, do something to help yourself. You're capable of it.
Yeah. Also, like, so Chris isn't dumb, right? Like, he made it through school eventually. He has a degree, right?
Yeah. Yep.
How at no point did he go, you know, I'm getting these emails from people at Nintendo?
Because his ego is so big that that's absolutely a thing he thought was possible and should be happening.
And I get that. But, like, at some point, why didn't you, like, look up Nintendo and be like, hey, I'm going to reach out to them at this other email address? Or
he did.
Okay.
And Nintendo sent him a thing that was like, we've never gotten a hold of you. Like, we don't take suggestions about games from people, so we have no idea what you're talking about. And that's how Chris eventually figures out this is all trolling. Is like Chris gets a letter from Nintendo that is more or less like, we don't know who you are. We've never gotten a hold of you. And also, don't send us mail about Sonichu. That's not how we don't take suggestions for games.
Okay. So I just jumped ahead a little bit.
Yeah, but like, come on, that's common sense. Eventually that was going to happen. It's not like you've spoiled anything. Like,
sure.
Eventually, sure. Like, Barb or Bob would be like, we're going to get a hold. Like, we're going to figure this out. So, Chris goes on in this email to say all caps right here. Also, I bet you probably smoke and drink, don't you? I speak against those as well, since those are tools to speed you to death with cancer, liver problems, bar fights, and automobile accidents. Give up the habits. They're beyond gross and disgusting. So he just assumes because you said that I'm lazy and you're telling me all these things I don't want to hear. You probably smoke and drink because I hate those too, and this gives me a reason to hate you now.
I love that to Chris, like, cancer and bar fights are on a similar level.
Yeah. Cancer, liver problems, bar fights, and automobile accidents. So Reggie sends Chris another email that is more like, see, this is why no one wants to hire you, because like, what if you freaked out on somebody at work? It's a PR disaster. Like, just what the hell kind of game did you want Nintendo to make? Oh yeah, here it is. That's the exact quote. Okay, what was I referring to was the panty shot of Rose Chew in one of the first frames. Then you show two characters in bed making love to each other. Just what the hell kind of game did you want Nintendo to make? Nintendo's always been in the business of making games for the whole family. This includes children.
Yeah, I mean, that's true.
So Chris says, well, the game would not constantly revolve around the background romance. It's called a happy ending. He's like, no, they fuck at the end. Like...
We save the fucking. That's what you get when you win.
So like Chris is like, no, I don't accept that you're not going to make this game, and also I'm not lazy, and they more or less tell Chris to fuck off. And Chris, when he finds out, is like about that this is all fake. It sends one last email. And it's official that you, sir, are an imposter. You blatantly cropped and copied a piece of the letterhead from the letter I've uploaded onto my server, and you have obviously forged the signature. I am ceasing contact with you and your current email address, as well as Mr. Miyamoto's email address, because you both were imposters trolls, so you can quit your charade, you bastards.
Oh, you got him.
So Chris figured it out. Jay-Z was their lawyer. Only a month. This one only lasted through January.
The fact that it took a month is still ridiculous.
So, yeah, that was the Miyamoto saga, and that's like one of my favorite stories because like the Reggie Fils-Aimé thing is my favorite. Like I love those emails where he is like, "You probably smoke and drink." Because
it's Chris. Chris instantly goes on the fucking defensive.
Yeah,
instantly.
Of like good points. Good. Like you're 27, you don't need your parents' permission to fly out here. Now keep in mind it's really good that Chris didn't fly out there. Like,
oh my,
it's good. He's like that stubborn about everything because like that would have been awful.
Could you imagine? Yeah, if he had like a little bit more financial stability and was able to be like, yeah, I'll hop a flight to Washington, fuck it, and just showed up at Nintendo headquarters, the fucking meltdown he would have had at Nintendo headquarters when they were like, we don't know who the fuck.
Gosh, it would have been terrible. That would have been awful.
Chris would have been famous. He definitely would have been famous.
We're gonna get into a story later though, where like Chris does not pick up on that he probably shouldn't travel to this place, but. One of the things mentioned in the emails is Greg Mays. Greg Mays is a guy that works for Nintendo, and he absolutely needed all the login info for Sonichu.net so they could put Nintendo logos on it for Chris. Turns out that's a bad idea. I shouldn't have done that. So Clyde Cash was posing as Greg Mays. Shocking, I know. He got control of Chris's Sonichu site, and he told Chris, I'll give it back to you if you make a video saying you're gay. And we'll like plug the audio in from that. But all you really need to know is that Chris can't say gay in it normally. He keeps saying gay, gay. It's like later he does a video where it's at the end of the video. He's like, I'm a Gabian. It's like he will not say the word Gabian. He just makes, I don't know, but because he won't say I am gay. He will not say those words.
Hello. You know, the word gay tends to be thrown around a lot. Especially when one's words is heavily understood one way or understood another way. It can mean so much. But when it comes to in the end, it can make a lot of difference. I personally respect the gay population, and I applaud them because they come out of closets with their own emotions and feelings and whatnot, and sometimes even us brave heroes need to come out the closet as well. I have come out of my emotional prohibited shell that has prohibited me from expressing my emotions in an understood, wise choice of words, but I have learned to come out and express them in a good term as well. And especially when it can come from especially when the emotions come from the heart and the body language, it just depends on how it is understood from that point or another. But I'll cut to a chase. I respect my fellow man, and I have some feelings for the man as well. But in a nutshell, I have to come out of the closet, and so one closet, God please help me, and I feel that I am forced to come out of. Simply put, and I'm willing to say this in sound, mind, and body, I am a Gabian. Yep, you heard me. I am a Gabian. A male lesbian. Thank you.
So Gabian, you'll go to find out. You heard me. I'm a Gabian, a male lesbian.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So this happens because like Clyde has Sonichu.net, but also Clyde is talking to Chris's newest sweetheart, Julie. So you find out that Chris later makes a video where he's like, I'm not gay, and I did that because Clyde Cash has control of Sonichu.net and also is going to harm my trusted gal pal and sweetheart, Julie. And so I did this video to help her, and to prove that he's not gay, he breaks a vibrator.
What?
Hello. Some of you may have seen the video which I've recently uploaded, saying that I was of the wrong orientation. But I want to let y'all know that I did that to save the life of a trusted gal pal, and she is eternally grateful to me for it. So yes, as you can tell from my nonverbal clues, I was lying out of my ass. But I did to save her life, because Clyde Cash would have harmed her. But I have gotten his word that he would not lay a finger on her. And also, I had to make another slight promise. Another promise after making that. After that, I get rid of some of my unnecessary possessions. I want to let him know anyway that I've already started. I destroyed this. Dun dun dun. That deed is done. I am straight. I am straight. It took me the one time where I actually had to say the word that I hated so much for the first time in my life ever. And then later, it took one man to send me an email, let me know that he realized the nonverbal clues, leading to I was being forced to do that, and I had to lie up my ass. Y'all can view the previously uploaded video in its originality and unaltered spec, and an unaltered sense in my current YouTube account. But I think I have proven myself well enough. I was holding on to my manhood, my straightness, by having Optimus Prime in my lap, and my Sailor Moon poster behind me that I look at every night to help keep me straight. I was born straight, and I will never be changed that way.
Chris got a vibrator with an Adam and Eve order, and he definitely put it in his ass. And anal beads. We find that out later too. Chris has definitely done these things. He threw the anal beads out though because they came out with poop on them. And we find all this out because this is the things he tells Julie. So yeah, Chris breaks this vibrator and announces that he is straight, and he's got a Sailor Moon poster to prove that he's straight. He's also, as you can tell in the video before this, his codes that he was letting you know that he's not really doesn't believe this. Sailor Moon poster, and he's holding Optimus Prime in his hand, the manliest of
is that so? Optimus Prime's the manliest of the Transformers?
Yeah, so that proves that he's not gay, is because there's a picture of an anime girl behind him, and he's holding an Optimus Prime.
I don't know. I think maybe it proves that he's gay because he's holding the manliest Transformer.
So, do you want to get into Julie now?
Sure, yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Julie is Chris's sweetheart at this time.
Of course she is.
They meet on a mumble chat because Chris hears Julie's voice and is instantly enthralled. So Julie, unfortunately, has a brother named Max that does not like Chris and is not approving of this relationship. So you got to keep that part in mind. All right, Julie, and she has a brother named Max. They're from Mulvania. It's a country in Europe. They have no accents, at all.
Mulvania.
They fled Mulvania. There's later where Julie talks to Bob on the phone, and Bob's like, "I've never heard of Mulvania," and then Bob wants to believe it, so he explains it away to himself, but when the USSR, all those countries, whatever, there's new countries and old countries all the time over there. So
Bob just so wants Chris to have someone. He's yeah, you know what? Fuck it, yeah.
So Julie wants Chris sexually, and is like, Chris, you should make me some sex tapes. So Chris is like, right on. And Chris makes videos where he's fucking his blow-up doll and screaming Julie at the top of his lungs.
Hey, Julie. I love you, Julie. Julie. Yeah. Julie. Julie. Yes, Julie. Julie, yes, Julie. You take that like a good bad girl. Yeah, Julie. Julie! Yeah, Julie! I'm ready to go! Julie!
He sends these to Julie. And somehow they get leaked. Who'd have fucking thought it?
Can't imagine how.
So these videos are going around of Chris humping the shit out of this fucking sex doll, screaming Julie at the top of his lungs. Also, Chris and Julie like to have phone sex, but they like to do role play where Chris role plays Sonichu and Julie's like a cat girl, and he like shocks her vagina with his little shockers, and like one of these times when they're having phone sex, another group of trolls like knows this is going on, so they call Chris's house, and when Bob answers, there's like, Chris is on live on his webcam, and he says he's gonna kill himself. You need to bust in that room right now. I will send you the audio for that, but it's more or less like Bob being like, what the hell's going on in here? And like Chris thinks he's talking about like catching him jerking off, but Bob's talking about like what you kill yourself, like what the fuck's going on? And Chris is like, nothing, get out. And he's like, no, I'm not getting out. I'm not, like, Bob's adamant. He's staying there. He's not gonna let his son die. And he tells Chris, go get your mother and tell you go get your mom and tell her what you're doing.
Oh yeah. So what are you doing? Nothing. I'm getting all these crazy damn calls. What are you doing? Nothing. Give me that crap. Now what's going on? Dad, will you get out of here? No, I will not. People telling me that you're about to kill yourself on YouTube. What? What are you doing? I'm not doing anything. I'm going to wake your mother up and find out? No. Well, then get out of here and off that internet. Fine. What is your trouble? I'm not going to kill myself. Get away from that TV. Fine. Get away from the internet. I'm cutting it down right now. No! Dad, no! Yes. No! What are you doing? Don't do it, Dad. I'm going to shut this thing right down. No. Yes. No. Dad, no. Stop. Go wake your mother up. Don't bother me. Okay? Go wake your mother up. Don't bother me. Go and wake your mother up. You tell her what's going on. This thing is going to go down. No. Yes.
So eventually, like, Bob gets out. He's like, people on the internet are saying you're in here trying to kill yourself. And Chris is like, no, what? Like, Chris is confused as fuck. But Bob is like, no, go wake your mom up. I'm not dealing with this. Go tell her what you're doing.
So in these voice chats with Julie, is somebody just using a voice changer, or do they have like pre-recorded audio?
We'll get to that.
Okay,
we'll get to that later.
Okay,
that's key. That's a big part. So I believe Julie is the one where she wants Chris's medallion.
And she does.
Yeah, and Chris sends it to her, but damn it, once you know, it got intercepted by the trolls during travel, And like they make a video destroying it, but Chris lets him know, fuck you, that's not the real medallion. This is the real medallion. It's got a spot on the back for my high school ring, and that's how you know it's the real medallion. You guys got an imposter medallion. I don't even care about it. So they're determined to like destroy this medallion, right?
Right.
So part of that happens in March. Like Chris is dating Julie all through February, doing little phone sexes with Julie, to fucking his fuck doll, like all the good stuff he's doing. And during this, Julie gets kidnapped by. Julie moves to Ohio, actually.
Oh,
to
shit.
Cleveland. Yeah, Julie moves to Ohio to live with relatives. But Max and Clyde kidnap Julie and have her held hostage at this house in Cleveland. And they said, Chris, you can either come save Julie or we can give you your PlayStation password back. Because they hack his PSN account. They have control of it. So it's like, Chris, you got to choose your PSN account or Julie. And like Chris tells his parents, I'm driving to Cleveland. They're like, no, the fuck you're not. You absolutely are not doing that. That is, you're no one. Call the, like, I think more or less they're like, she's kidnapped, call the cops. And they're like, no, they said don't call the cops. And so like Chris's parents aren't stupid. They're like, do not fucking drive to Cleveland, Chris. So Chris has a dream where his dead relatives tell him, you need to do this and save this girl.
Oh no.
So Chris leaves in the middle of the night for Cleveland, Ohio. Drive this address, right? And when he gets there, it's just this old lady in like a shitty house, and she's like, I don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So he drives
What
back
part
home.
of Cleveland did they send him to?
I don't know. Obviously nothing too dangerous. He's still alive. So
Well, fair.
Yeah.
So were like, do you think some of the trolls were from Cleveland?
No, I think they just picked Cleveland.
They just picked up fucking random address in Cleveland and were like,
yeah, because like he said she was moving to Ohio, so I think they just picked a city in Ohio. So Chris gets back and he makes a video where like Chris very much tries to make the best of it, where he's like, yeah, you guys tricked me, but you know, I drove to Cleveland by myself and drove back, and like I got to see part of the country I never would have got to see before, and I went on a road trip by myself for the first time, and like you guys tried to fuck with me, but like I got a lot of good out of it. Which is good, I guess. Like
honestly, that's pretty amazing that he made it from Ruckersville to Cleveland and back. Like,
yeah, his parents reported him missing, and they got told like, what's he doing? And they're like, he's driving to Cleveland. And they're like, so you know exactly where he is and what he's doing? That's not missing. Like, and they're, oh no, he's like, yeah, he's 27. We can't go like get him. Like,
there's a part of me that really hopes he had to stop in Youngstown for something, because that had to be an eye opener for him.
He stopped at a Sheetz. Like he showed like receipts from where he went. He stopped at a Sheetz somewhere in Ohio.
I mean, there's a Sheetz right there on the interstate, right as you cross the border.
What do you think he got?
Oh, I don't even know. Something terrible, I'm sure. Probably like those awful Sheetz hot dogs.
I've only ever gotten like a couple things at Sheetz, but like the Mott's Burger's pretty fucking awesome, so.
Dude, Sheetz is real hit or miss, man. And like sometimes they'll have good shit and then they'll make that shit go away. Like they used to have amazing fried pickles and those are gone now.
I've never eaten them. No, never. Never.
I am not surprised you haven't had a fried pickle.
I don't like pickles, man. Much like Chris Chan. Not a fan of pickles.
Well, we know he didn't get those.
Right. So Chris does this trip and he's like, all right, well, I picked Julie, so give me my PlayStation account back. And they're like, no, you picked Julie. And he's like, no, I did the right thing. I did the right thing, so now I get both, because that's how these things work in movies. And they're like, no, fuck no, you picked Julie, you got Julie. And like Chris is pissed, and like they keep being like, well, you wanted Julie, right? He's like, yeah. And they're like, so you're happy? He's like, no. So later, like in March, Julie has a chat with Chris, right? And is like, I really need to tell you something. And Chris goes, that you love me, right? And he's like, Julie's like, yes, but also, Chris, you need to know something. I'm Max. So that's key. Julie and Max talk the exact same voice. They don't change their voice at all, like between the two characters. Chris never picks up on this. They sound literally the exact same.
What?
Julie is Max.
Well, yeah, no, I get that.
Yeah.
They didn't even try to put on a voice?
No. And the reason they didn't have to try to put on a voice is because he had not quite hit puberty yet, because Max is Blue Spike, who is a 13-year-old boy.
Oh,
so
no!
Chris, Blue Spike tells Chris, you're a pedophile, and I'm going to turn this into the FBI. Chris loses his fucking mind.
Chris, I'm happy you're here. Hi.
Hi. I've got to put my earphones on.
Hi. Chris?
Julie?
There's something I've been trying to tell you for a while.
Yes?
Well, I'm going to be there tomorrow, and I think it's safe to say that I can tell you this with my heartfelt love.
Alright, yes, go ahead and tell me now.
Do you really want to know?
Yeah.
I can't. Not right now.
Come on, please.
No, I can't.
Please, Julie, I've just been through a whole lot of mess for you just now.
Why? What happened?
I'll say that in private, but let me hear what you say first, from your heart.
This is so hard for me to say.
You love me, don't you?
I do, but there's something else I need to say. I just don't know how to do this. I don't know how to tell you this. Chris?
Yeah, I came back now. I wonder what happened there.
I don't know. But this is... Can you talk with the fans for like 5 minutes? And then I'll tell you, please?
I'm sorry.
No. No, I'm ready to tell you.
Okay.
This whole time, Chris, you've been having sex with a 13-year-old boy, you sick fuck!
What?
Yeah, I'm a 13-year-old boy, Chris, and you've been having sex with me this entire time. I'm gonna give all your fucking data to Chris Hansen, you fucking pedo fork, so you better get the fuck out now, before I report you to the fucking feds. Get out.
Naturally.
Holy shit.
So Julie this whole time has been a 13-year-old boy that Chris has been tricked into having phone sex with, so they could record the phone sex, and they can all laugh at it and put it on the internet.
Wow. Further proving my point that teenagers are the worst people on the planet.
So this happened because, like, in a mumble chat, Blue Spike talked and Chris thought it was a girl, and that's it. Like, there was no plan for this to all happen. It's just when Max talked, Chris thought it was a girl. So, like, Blue Spike, whatever, kept doing it and acting like a girl, and then eventually started dating Chris. So this is actually has a lot of people, like, at the time, apparently in the Christianity community, a lot of the people follow him, like a real, like, split thing where a lot of people, let me find the email. They were pissed. So here it is. This is from ED user. If Blue Spike really is 13 years old, then we know who the real child molesters are. Hey, be one of the cool kids. Help this autistic guy jack off. Pretend to be a girl so we can videotape and record it. That's the real reason you were shitting and called it 30 minutes of silence just after, Clyde. At least you had the balls to say that it was you responsible, because this is Clyde's idea, right? When Clyde heard this, he was like, no, you have to pretend to be a girl and have phone sex with Chris, and we'll record it. So this person tells Clyde, if Blue Spike really is 13, then you groomed a child to perform sex acts on a mentally retarded man for your pleasure. You're fucked up. You both broke a lol cow, but there's a better sport now, ruining your lives. And don't act like you don't care. I saw you shitting yourself all night, the next night sending waves of members out to kill threads about it and put in false names. So yeah, a bunch of people are like, we are going to the cops with this shit because that's fucked up. And so, like, the people doing Clyde are, like, trying to shut this down and, like, trying to distance themselves from it. But it absolutely was. That person's absolutely correct. The person doing Clyde Cash convinced a 13-year-old boy to have phone sex with this dude so they could fucking record it, and that is grooming. Like,
that's fucked.
Yeah.
That's extra fucked.
Yeah.
Well, this just went from fun to not.
Yeah, and it gets not fun more after this. They continue to fuck with Chris, and this is where
does.
Yes, this is where the medallion things happens, because now it's not only we have your PlayStation account, but also like we could go to the cops with this, so you better do what we say. And Blue Spike, everyone. So this next part, if you take it at face value, then Blue Spike is a little sociopath and like a fucking danger to society. So they're fucking with Chris, and they're telling him like, I believe it's to get the PlayStation account back. Blue Spike is like, the medallion right now, you can either break it up and set it on fire, you can shove it up your ass. And Chris is like, I will absolutely shove that medallion up my ass. So Chris, yeah, it goes right. It's literally, he doesn't even wait long, if we're being honest. It's pretty quick that he makes that decision that he's going to break this medallion up into pieces and shove it up his ass.
You've told me about this before. I don't know if it was on the show or not.
So Chris breaks it up and shoves it up his ass. And luckily, there's supposed to be video of this, but like they fucked up the recording, and there's only like some audio from it. And everyone is like, Chris, like, how could you do that to him? Blah blah blah, and like give Blue Spike a lot of shit for it. But clearly, if you listen to it back, he didn't want Chris to shove it up his ass. Like, clearly the goal was to get a video of Chris setting his medallion on fire. And he gave him the other option as, like, a joke option. But Chris immediately went into it. Like, couldn't wait.
To shove that thing right up his ass.
Yeah. Just to, like, end Blue Spike and let you know that Blue Spike did an interview, like, in 2017. And he's like, Blue Spike's an adult now. And he said, there's been tons of things in my life I regret and hated doing later on. All the stuff from 10 years ago was one of them. I've moved past everything that happened those many years ago, and obviously I'm a different person now. It wasn't funny, and it was a very A-log thing to do. Nothing much I can say there. A-log is a thing used in, like, I don't know if it's just Chris or it's all lolcow terms, but it's like, A-logs are people that troll Chris, but they're not very funny about it. Like, there's no cleverness to it. There's nothing to, like they call his house and just scream Julie when he picks up the phone. Like, that's A-log and ween shit.
Yeah.
So then also somebody asked him, would you do it again? He said, probably not. I would try to do something more similar to Liquid Chris, not trying to ruin his life and just to have fun with him.
Yeah, man, there's a lot there.
Blue Spike, just so you know, to this day, Chris hates that kid. And it's like, that's his least favorite. Like, above Clyde, above, like, the idea guys that actually ruined his life. Like, Chris fucking hates Blue Spike.
I kind of get it.
Yeah, dude, I do too. Because, like, that dude... Like, that kid in Clyde Cash took fucking advantage of an autistic guy and, like, made him make sex videos and released them and, like, did all of this fucking shit that, like, literally, that's forever now. Like, those are forever for Chris. He will never move past, like, 2009, because if you Google Chris Chan, eventually you're going to find those videos of him fucking a blow-up doll.
Yeah. While having phone sex with a 13-year-old boy.
Yep.
And, like, but it's, man, because you also, like, you can't be that mad at the 13-year-old boy because he's a fucking 13-year-old boy who's being groomed by assholes.
Yeah, that was being talked into doing all this shit.
Ugh.
And, like, yeah, he said, he's like, looks back on it now and it's like, it's a super fucked up thing. And he knew it. He knows it now, but, like, I don't know, man. From this point on, I think, I don't think the trolling ever gets that personal and awful again until the idea guys. Like you said, like, Liquid Chris is coming up, and, like, that's just fun shit. Like, it pisses Chris off, but it's nothing ruining his life, like, what all that was. And that's probably as dark as the trolling gets.
Okay. I mean, that's pretty fucking dark.
Yeah. Yeah. That's when I got to that point in the Geno Samuels doc, like, I was like, I gotta take a break, man. Like, that wasn't funny or fun. That was... Hey, I have your answer, by the way, about Sheets, what he got at Sheets. He just got gas. He was at Sonic in Streetsboro.
Oh, yeah, Sonic's right across the street.
Yeah, so this is in Streetsboro. He went to Sheets and then Sonic.
Yeah, those are across the street from each other.
You know exactly where this is?
Yeah, dude, I used to live in Streetsboro.
That's awesome. What if you were in Sheets, like getting something the same time as Chris, at Sonic the same time as Chris?
It could have been. I didn't live there then though. This was 2009.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was in Youngstown by then. I was back here.
Damn it. So next time we're gonna talk about how Chris rebounds from Julie going on a date with Emily, but he encounters a new foe, and ... dramatic pause. Chris leaves YouTube forever.
Oh shit. And now I know, like, this show comes out sort of whenever it comes out, right? Like we're not the most on the ball with this thing, but I think going forward it's a pretty safe bet that there's going to be an episode every month now that it's like this and not so much like the deep dives into stuff.
Yeah.
And no comics.
No comics. I think we have 2 more episodes of the comic, and that's not that bad. They're pretty far spaced out.
I hope.
So we won't have to do like an entire episode of comics again.
I never want to do another whole episode of comics again.
We also don't have to talk about Blue Spike ever again. So that's good too.
Ooh, thank fucking whatever you believe in.
So do you want an update on like what's going on with Christine right now?
Yeah, what's Christine up to?
November 3rd, Christine voted for Lisa Simpson for president.
Lisa Simpson, like of the cartoon Simpsons.
Yes.
Oh.
Christine, like, she also did a sermon about the dimensional merge that I will not watch. It is very long and I can't.
A sermon.
Yeah. Like it looks like she rented a place, like a conference room somewhere.
Okay. Like in a Kinko's?
Maybe in a hotel. It's hard telling, but like she's definitely at a podium. And it looks like a conference room. Yeah.
It could be like at her church.
Maybe. Also, she did a thing where she read and critiqued fan fiction about her and was like, no, this is wrong. Because like she didn't pick up on the fact that this was made to make fun of her. Like part of it was like Christine let out an autistic screech, and she's like, you could just put screech. You don't have to put autistic screech.
You don't have to.
Well, that's basically it. It's been pretty low-key November for Christine. Like,
that's
November,
quiet.
Nothing really in December yet. Like,
and Barb's still with us?
Barb's still alive, yes.
No,
Barb
Christine...
is not dead. Last we heard 64 days ago is what it says on the Quickie front page.
Christine's avoided the COVID so far, right?
Yes. Which I said I think it'd be easy for her. She doesn't really leave the house anyway.
Yeah. So where are we at with the stats?
All right. So the coping counter, it's been 4 days since Chris made it a new escapist fantasy to cope with reality. 702 days since the dimensional merge was to be completed. A coping mechanism Chris believes will rescue her from her debt and other life problems. And 1,135 days since Chris joined the cult of the idea guys. Money-wise, from the old begging counter, we got 144 days since Christine last begged for money, 427 days since Christine last uploaded pages to meet her paid obligations for the Sonichu comic, and 4,087 days since Christine last applied for a job. That comic one is amazing. That comic one, it's been well over a year since Christine has made one single comic page for a thing that she is paid to do.
That's amazing, but I also think it's amazing. Don't discredit 144 days since begged for money.
Yeah. Somebody put up a comment under the begging counter, though, that this is new. It's a person from Etsy, in like Christine's Etsy shop, where it says, 3 years, Chris. 3 years. And it's from, quote, an Etsy customer gambled that Chris would deliver and lost, still bitter over it 3 years later.
I'm so glad that the medallion thing was not, like, it was over before we had a chance to roll those dice.
Because I would have probably had to try. I would have had to try.
Yeah, I knew, man. I knew it was a bad idea. As much as I would like a bionic medallion, I knew it was a bad idea. 4 days since an escapist fantasy, though, so Christine's been active on the Twitter, I take it?
Yeah, Christine's still doing the thing where like Sonichu is taking over her body. And that's what that last one was Sonichu giving an update.
Yeah, that's... Sonichu should pick up some pencils, maybe work on some pages of his own comic.
You know, I didn't even think about that. That's probably why the comic's not getting made, because Sonichu is in Christine's body in this dimension.
Yes, I mean, how is Sonichu expected to write stories about himself? Oh.
All right, that's all I got for this episode.
All right, I dig it. I don't know how to close this out. I hadn't really put a lot of thought into it.
Probably just right now you play that Quickalicious song where Christine's singing about how she's Quickalicious.
Well, I mean, that's always how we're going to close things out.
Just play it right now.
Listen up, y'all, 'cause this is it. The beat that I'm banging is delicious. Fergalicious definition makes them girls go loco. Wear my treasure so they get their pleasure from my photo. So you see me, you can squeeze me. It ain't easy, I ain't sleazy. I got reasons why I tease them. Girls just come and go like seasons. Fergalicious, so, but I ain't promiscuous. And if you were suspicious, all that beep is fictitious. I blow kisses. That puts them girls on rock. They're just lining down the block just to watch what I got. So delicious. It's hot, so delicious. I put them girls on rock, so delicious. They want a taste of what I got. I'm Fergalicious. Tasty. Fergalicious deaf. Fergalicious deaf. Fergalicious definition makes them girls go crazy. They always claim they know me, coming to call me Stacy. I'm F to the E to the G I E. I know other girls is down like me. Fergalicious, so delicious, nice and vicious. Up at the gym, just working on my fitness. She's my witness. So but rock, hiding down the block just to watch what I got. So delicious. It's hot, so delicious. I put the girls on rocks, so delicious. They want a taste of what I got. Fergalicious. Hold up. Check it out.